guys, welcome back to another budgeting video. If you are new here, my name is Lindsay. I'm a full-time working mom, and in these videos I like to share my journey to pay down $26,000 in debt. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in, then please subscribe and keep watching. Okay, so today we are going to be going through my June budget. So as you can see here, these are all the resources that I'm going to be using. I've got my calculator, my highlighters, my erasable pen. I also bought the Budget Mom Budget by Paycheck workbook. So I'll be sharing that with you as well. I also have a June calendar, blank June calendar, and then I have my monthly bills and expenses that I have recorded, as well as my 2021 yearly expenses. So we're gonna jump right in. So I've got my June calendar here. I'm gonna start off by highlighting when I get paid and when my husband gets paid. So I'll do myself in pink, which is the 7th and the 22nd. My husband gets paid every Friday, so he'll be in blue. Okay, and I also have a couple of appointments coming up this month that I know about for sure, so I'm going to go ahead and write those down. I have a therapy appointment on the 9th. My daughter also has a doctor appointment on the 23rd. Okay, so that's all of the appointments that we have this month. Now I'm gonna start filling in my bills. So I'm going to use my monthly bills and expenses worksheet to fill that out. So we'll start with the house. It's due on the 1st of the next month. So I'm gonna write it on the 25th because that is the last paycheck we're gonna be getting of the month. The water, one main is a personal loan, and then our car insurance is all due on the 7th. We have a gym membership that is due on the 15th. Our electric bill is due on the 20th. And then Chase. So I decided a couple months ago that I was going to put our phone bill on auto pay, and we were going to pay it with our Chase card. Reason being, Chase gives you points back, and our phone bill was always due on the 12th, so it was kind of an inconvenient time of month for us to pay a very large bill. So that's why I moved it to our Chase card. We also have all of our subscriptions on there. So we've got Disney Plus, PlayStation Network, Spotify, and Paramount Plus all on that as well, just because those subscriptions come out at weird times of the month, and it was exhausting trying to keep track of all of them. So it's so much easier just to have them come out of our Chase card, and then I just pay that on the 22nd. So our Chase is due on the 22nd, and then sinking funds are on the 22nd as well. Another thing that I have had to put into our expenses is my blood pressure medicine. So I have to get that monthly. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that here because that is usually when I run out. Okay, so that is all of our bills. I'm going to highlight our appointments. Okay, so that's all the bills that we can expect. I'm gonna move over here to our yearly expenses. So this month in June, we have Father's Day and a trash bill. So our trash bill is gonna be due on the 4th. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that in. And then Father's Day, I actually already bought my husband's Father's Day present. So I won't have to take anything out of the bank for that. Okay, so I like to do my budget on paper. And reason being, it's just so much easier for me to keep track of. So I've already written down our paychecks. Something new that I'm starting this month as well is I'm going to only budget for 4 paychecks instead of doing my 2 paychecks as well. It's just so much easier, especially whenever my paychecks are on weird days of the month. So like I'll get paid on a Monday and then a Tuesday, and that just really, it doesn't work well with us. So I moved them all to just 4 paychecks. So on the week of the 4th, we will both get paid. So our expected paycheck is $13.70. The 11th, my husband will get paid, so $5.70. The 18th, we'll both get paid that week again, so it'll be $13.70. The 25th, $5.70 is when my husband will get paid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my calendar here. Like I said, I'll see it, but you won't. I'm going to start writing all of the bills that will need to be paid on each of these weeks. Okay, so that is all of our bills for this month, including our appointments and my medication. So now I'm going to come back to this worksheet that I made. So now I'm gonna work on our weekly expenses. So our weekly expenses are the babysitter, fuel for our cars, chew for my husband, groceries, spending, therapy as well as in there, but this month is gonna be a little weird. Normally I go to therapy every week, but this month is gonna be a little bit different because she's got some vacation going on, and then my work schedule is all crazy this month. So yeah, we're not gonna figure in therapy every week. You'll see. But so I'm gonna go ahead and start writing down our weekly expenses for every week. Okay, so I have everything written down besides our groceries and our house payment. That is the only other two things that we need to figure out, you know, how much we can pay. So I'm gonna add everything up so far, just to make sure that we don't need to cut corners anywhere to be able to make sure that our house payment is paid. So I'm just gonna add everything up, make sure that it's no more than $1,370 and $570. Okay, so I have everything written down. So right now I'm panicking a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to subtract our expected paycheck amount from what we have budgeted so far. So right now we have $281 left in this paycheck. We have $260 left in this paycheck. $235 left on this one. $345 left on this one, and we still have to pay the house payment and our groceries. So our house payment is $720. We're gonna divide it by 4 paychecks. $180 needs to come out of each paycheck. So now we're going to add 180 to this number. Okay, So now we have all of our totals. Our house payment is paid. Now we're just trying to figure out our groceries. So we're gonna subtract our expected amount by how much we have budgeted so far. So that leaves us with 101 for groceries there. 570 minus 490. That leaves us with 80 here. Okay, so these three numbers really scare me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut back our fuel and I'm gonna cut back our spending on every paycheck. So I'm gonna take it down 60. So that's $30 for each of our tanks, and that's $10 spending for each of us for the week. So I'm gonna do that to every week. Okay, so now we are going to add up. So this is kind of irrelevant right here. So I'm gonna just mark it out so we don't get lost. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add up everything that we have budgeted here, and then we're gonna do a refigure for this. So I'm actually gonna mark out this too, because we're not gonna be working with that anymore. So here we go, we're gonna add up everything. I forgot to mention as well that I got a bill in the mail from my OB visit back in April. And it's kind of upsetting because I tried to pay that day that I was there, but they would not let me pay. So now I have a bill for it and I have to take care of that. So we're gonna have to, after we do the groceries, we'll talk about that. So we've got $13.70 minus $12.29, $141. So our budget, we try to stay within $120 each week. So we're gonna budget groceries $120. Okay, so we're gonna do $12.29 plus $120. Whoop. Equals $13.49. Minus $13.70 leaves us with $21 to go towards the OB bill. And then we have $13.70. Okay, done with that paycheck. So now we'll do $570 minus $450. $120, perfect. So we're spending $120 on groceries this week, which leaves us with $570. Okay. Down here, we'll do $13.70 minus $12.75. Leaves us with $95 left to spend on groceries, which isn't ideal, but we will have to make it work. Okay. Down here, we'll do $570 minus $365. $205. So we'll actually do groceries $120. So $365 plus $120 is $485 minus $570 leaves us with $85 to go towards the OB bill. Okay, and we are zeroing out at $570. So the whole point to this is to do a zero-based budget. You want every dollar to have a place, even if it is putting $21 towards a medical bill, $85 towards a medical bill. Just making sure that you have a place for everything. Also, I'm sure that you saw we are starting sinking funds this month, and which will be a completely different video. You can see that I'm pulling it out on June 18th. And so after the 18th is whenever I will be able to film that, that video, and I will share it with you. So that's kind of what we got going on here. That's kind of how I do it. I haven't really found a good method to call it, but that's basically what I do. I start with my monthly bills. I move towards my yearly expenses, which I have written down ahead of time. Every 3 months my birth control comes out. Every 3 months we get oil changes. Every 3 months my trash bill comes out. So just basically writing everything down that you're gonna have to expect to either cash flow or budget for. So that's really important. And then also budgeting for all of your appointments. So that's kind of how I do it. If you're interested in any of my other budgeting videos, I always have a playlist linked down below for you. Okay, so I wanted to show you this workbook. So I got this in May. Actually, it was like the end of April, and I decided that I was going to try to use it in May, and I just could not get a handle on it. I just could not figure out how to work it. It wasn't working for my budget. And then for June, I finally sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. There's been a lot of people that's successful, and I really want to make it work. So I got this, and we're gonna look at it for June. So I think that I still will continue to do the paper just because this is how my brain works. This makes sense to me, and I know that it probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it makes sense to me, especially whenever you get it off of this paper and onto something cleaner. It makes perfect sense. Let me show you an example of last month. Okay, so this is how my brain works off camera, okay? So after I have everything budgeted out, I've got everything written down, I'm for sure about everything, then I will transfer it to something that is a lot prettier, it's more appealing to the eye, and then I will get out my highlighter. So just to explain the colors, anything that's gonna be pulled out in cash is green, so I just highlight everything in green. Anything that is gonna be used with the check, I highlight in orange, which is only one thing, it's our water bill. Anything that's on auto pay, I highlight in blue, so our car insurance and our gym. Anything in yellow that I will have to physically go in and do something with. So like, this is need to pay is what I call it. So we will need to stop and get gas. My husband will need to stop and get chew. I will have to put in a grocery order. I cannot put my electric bill on auto pay, so I have to go in and pay that. I have to go in and pay my Chase bill. I don't want to schedule that. I just want to be able to go in and do that myself. I have to go pick up my blood pressure medicine. My husband needs an oil change this month, so he will have to physically go and get that. So that's kind of what that means. Need to transfer means that I will need to transfer that in any sort of way. So our spending money, we use Chime. It's basically a prepaid debit card. My bank has a feature where you can use, it's called Zelle. I don't know how popular it is, but my bank uses it. You can use Zelle to transfer money to that prepaid debit card, and once you're out of money, you're out of money. And we have been using that, and we have been really, really successful. So if that's something that you're interested in, I can try and leave a link down below for you, a referral link. I don't know if you get any money, but I can try to leave that down below for you. But we have been very successful with using Chime. And then also our house. So we have a separate account for our house payment. And so that's what that means. And then scheduled. I do have to go in and schedule one bill still. So our one main, it's called One Main. I call it our personal loan. I do have to go in and schedule that. So I make sure that that's scheduled the beginning of the month so that I don't get notifications telling me that it's almost time to pay your bill, you know? So this is what it looks like after it's all said and done. And I do this after I film the video, so that's just kind of an example, but I highly recommend trying this method. It works for me. It's worked for us for a good 2 years at this point. So yeah, just get everything on paper. Don't try to willy-nilly it, just do your budget. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you this Budget by Paycheck workbook. So you just open it up, it's a trifold. This is the smaller box set. I did want to get the full size, but when she was having her sale, it was only on these. So yeah, you just open it up, it's trifold, it's pretty. this workbook belongs to. And then here is my June calendar. So I went ahead and did the exact same thing that I did on the other June calendar. So I have all of our paydays, all of our bills. I wrote to the side over here that I have an OB bill that I need to take care of. So there's that. And everything on this is blank as well. So you can start it in any year. It just says June. And then you have a spot for your notes, which I didn't use. So this first paycheck, 6/4. So I wrote down our paychecks. I wrote down our bills, which is our fixed expenses. And then you have a little math that you do here. So you do your bill total and then how much you have left over. And then your envelopes, which is what I call our weekly expenses or a variable spending, which I don't know, our weekly expenses really isn't variable because either way, we're going to be spending that money. But she calls it envelopes because she likes to spend with cash, but we don't spend a whole lot with cash. So here's all of our weekly expenses. You do your total. This is how much you have left over. This month, or this paycheck, we were not doing sinking funds. So I'll move over here. So this is extra debt. So I have an OB bill that I'm taking care of, $21. After I spend that $21, we have nothing left over. So we don't have anything left to go towards savings. Our total income zeroed out. And then this is just for your cash envelope breakdown, which I'll show you here in just a minute. So then we go towards the next week. So my husband gets paid this week. So I put his paycheck up here, the 2 bills that we have to pay, and then our variable expenses again. No sinking funds this week. No extra debt, no extra savings. Cash envelopes, we're not doing those this week. This next one is when my husband and I get paid again. So here's our paychecks. Here's all the bills that we're going to be paying. Did a little math down here, our envelopes, and then our sinking funds. So this I will go over in more detail in another video, like I said, but this is kind of how it works out in the workbook. And then you come over here, you've got no extra debt, no extra savings, and then your total income is zeroed out because every dollar has a spot. Every dollar has some place to go. So here's the kind of cash envelope breakdown. She just wants you to basically put your amount of everything that you're going to be taking out and then all of your denomination. So you just kind of work through it. It's just like an easy little workbook. And then I have these little cash post-it notes that I'm going to be handing to the teller whenever I go take out my cash. So I like that I was able to do that before. So I was able to think through it and make sure that everything is correct before I just go in all willy-nilly and just, you know, mess something up basically. So this next one is the 25th. My husband gets paid. Here's the bill that we're going to be taking care of. Our weekly expenses again, no sinking funds. We took care of those last paycheck. And then the OB bill, we have another, we have a little bit more left over. So down here, I did write that this is how much I have left on my OB bill that I need to take care of. So just in case that I do get a bonus for June on my paycheck, then I can pay the rest of it off. My second paycheck in June is always the paychecks that I do get bonuses, but it is not guaranteed income, so I do not budget for that. And then over here, it does come with 5 weeks, and we are just working with 4. So here's that. And then your expense tracker. So this is meant to have like a continuous total, but I use one page for 1 week, week 2, week 3, week 4. And I've not been doing a real good job keeping track of everything that we're spending. So I'm hoping that this will help me get back on track. And then I think, yeah, there's a few more. So then you get back here. This is your debt payment plan. As of right now, we only have 1 debt that we're taking care of. So it's not really something that I'm tracking. If you watched my last month's debt video, then you know what's going on with that. But I'm not really keeping track of it. So I did not fill that out. And then where did my money go? Worksheet. So these are the things that I'm going to be keeping track of. So our groceries, just making sure we're staying on budget. Our food, which we are not budgeting for, and miscellaneous expenses, which we are not budgeting for. I'm just trying to kind of get a feel of how much we're actually spending because eating out and like miscellaneous gas station purchases have been, I don't want to say a problem, but it's not something that I want to continue to spend so much money on, so I want to keep track of it. And then at the end of the month, I will go through and break down everything. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. If you've been interested in getting one of these, I don't have an opinion on it yet because I've not used it, but once I could just focus and put everything in there, then it was a lot easier to use. So that is gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.